Hey, this is Arnoux Goran back at you again. I just want to thank everybody for watching our channel. Someone requested a specific video and I want to honor their request, and thank you so much for asking. And the request is, what is your greatest moment in life? What a great idea. But, I thought about this for a while, and I've had some really incredible things happen to me in my life. Real miracles, things that can't be explained scientifically. I mean, I know Sherlock Holmes would argue that there's always a scientific explanation, but there's some things that have happened that were just so mind-blowing. I wanted to say those ones, and there's so many of them, but I decided upon one specific thing that happened that for me was possibly probably the greatest moment of my life so far, because it continues to get better and better and better. On April 28th of 2013, Elise Homburger was attending one of my courses, helping run the course as an event angel. She had taken quite a few of my courses up to that point. Elise was an Olympic athlete, and in her early 20s, she got mono. She was sick for many months, and when she recovered, she only recovered 50%. And her mom died in a horrible motorcycle accident when she was 28. When I met her, she was 40. And at that point, during the second course, we erased all of the tragedy, the grief, and the sadness about her mom dying. During the course, she actually volunteered and came up on stage, and we actually erased that. Now, that's not the greatest moment. That's actually a really common thing in my courses. But then she also recovered her health. She took my health courses. And so on April 28th, 2013, she came up to me having accomplished all these things. And there's actually more I can tell you. And she stood in front of me. I just walked in the morning. And she just came up to me and she said, Arnoux. And then all of a sudden her eyes turned red. And then these two big tears just went down her face and she said, "You saved my life." And it was so moving and so touching. And look, that wasn't the first time that people have shared testimonials like that. I mean, it literally took me 2 years to get used to people's testimonials after I started teaching. But this was different. This is her crying and saying, "You saved my life." And that was just some whole other level of gratitude that I never experienced like that before. I actually wanted to also mention, previously in that year, she was working in medical sales. And she told her boss that she wanted to make it to the President's Club in their company, which means to be in the top half of 1%. If I'm getting that right. I believe it's top half of half 1%. Boy, I think it was 1 out of 2,000 people in the whole nation. And her boss told her not to even try and that it was impossible. But she achieved it. And she had to go to Washington, D.C. to give a speech. And she told the whole audience what happened. And I asked her, I said, "Well, at least how did you make it into the President's Club, even though your boss told you it was impossible?" She said, "All I did was follow what you taught me." Well, that was a moment in and of itself. But really, that April 28th day was a very special moment because it created a trend. That was the first time. But then every single course I taught after that, someone came up to me and cried and told me I saved their life, or some version of that. Like, I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for you. That's basically the same thing. Every single course. I was doing 2 or 3 weekend courses a month at that time. And even the introductory course, even the first course, someone would come up to me at the end and say something like that. And almost every time they cried. And that went on literally for years until I took a sabbatical in 2016 and 17. So that was actually a string of the greatest moment of my life, just going on and on and on. And I think that we have the paradigm upside down in our culture. We live in a culture where people think that having the most money and hoarding money from other people makes you successful. To me, that's not really being successful. There's a tradition called the Potlatch Ceremony in some of the Native American, or let's say indigenous peoples' ways. And they have a big ceremony where everyone gets together and gives away what they produced that year to the other members of their tribe. And whoever gives the most away is the most honored. It's exactly the flip or the upside down of the, "Oh, I have $10 billion, therefore I'm successful" model. To me, being successful is not about hoarding money. It's about making a difference. No amount of money that you have can ever purchase that feeling of someone coming up to you and crying and saying, "Thank you for saving my life," and then giving you a giant hug. You can't buy that. And it feels so amazing. There's nothing else you can do that could really feel that good that I've ever experienced. I mean, there are amazing ways to experience bliss and ecstasy in life, but truly the sense of fulfillment is so magnificent. When I first started teaching, the very first 10-week seminar that I did, almost everyone in the course came up to share a testimonial. It was mind-blowing. People came up and said they lost 30 pounds in a 10-week class. Some of them lost 20 pounds in a month, 30 pounds in a month when they followed my detox program. It was mind-blowing. They said all these incredible things, and I just felt my heart well up with fulfillment, like it was going to break. And it took 2 years for me to get used to that and realize that's just how it's going to be from now on. I've been teaching live seminars since 2001. This is 2020 right now, so I got used to it a long time ago. And now I expect that. Every single course, I expect people to share testimonials that are so mind-blowing that it makes you want to cry up on stage as the teacher. And I stand there and I think, why do they think I did anything? I didn't do anything. I just taught a class. They did it. But they always want to give me this credit. And to me, that's the most beautiful, most powerful moment of my life, is to experience that, have it going on, continuing, and to be able to share that with other people. You know, I created a whole program for one-on-one consulting, and I also created a whole program for teaching, so people could teach my material, so people could do one-on-ones and help other people like I help other people. The reason I did that was because so many people came up to me and said, Arnoux, I see how you help people so profoundly, so amazingly, so mind-blowingly. I want to do what you do. Can you teach me how to do it? And enough people said that until I said, I've got to create a training program just for this, because I understood that they wanted to feel like how I feel. Helping people like that is the best thing in the world. In one training I took a long time ago, they said that what people want the most is to be a contribution. And we often think that we have to do it all on our own. So we don't let other people contribute to us. We don't ask for help. We don't say, hey, here's what my goal is. Any ideas? And let them volunteer to help. We want to do everything ourselves and be independent. But then we're also robbing other people of the chance to truly help us. I believe all the greatest people in the world have had teachers, have had mentors, have had people who already accomplished something they want to accomplish, and were willing to teach how to do it. And in my More Money course, that's one of the fundamentals of being successful, is there's internal success and there's external success. If you want to be successful, you got to work on the inside and you got to work on the outside. Working on the outside means learning the methods, the recipes, the strategies for being successful in whatever it is you want to do. So if you want to learn how to fix cars, then you go to a school or find a mentor to train you in how to fix cars. You don't just try to figure it out yourself. But most people, whenever they undertake any sort of way of making money outside of a traditional job, tend to just try to figure it out themselves. Or they make the big mistake of trying to reinvent the wheel, and once they learn it from their teacher, do it different, without even doing it the way their teacher taught them in the first place. I've heard that men are much worse about that than women. And you really have to train yourself to just do it the way you've been shown, master it, and then see if you can improvise or improve upon that expert's training.